Us. I am Yori Folani. Today is a very, very important day in terms of security. The president is expected to be in Benue. He adjusted his schedule, as is well known by now, because of the importance of this particular matter, where over 200 people, at least, have been killed in what has been referred to as herder-farmer, violence. Of course, this is going to be investigated. Now, the president is expected this morning to be in Benue, anywhere from between, there you will, from between 12 to 1 o'clock. The president will be received in Benue State. Ahead of the president's visit, he has dispatched the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, the Inspector General of Police, heads of intelligence agencies, the National Security Advisor, chairman of the Senate and House Defense Committees, to Benue State. This shows the importance that the president is putting on this. The president is expected to hold town hall meetings with stakeholders during his visit, and this time, I guess we can say that it does appear that there seems to be a renewed hope for something to radically shift. The president has already expressed his condolence and his sadness at what has been happening over there in Benue State. And so this time, with all of these people, and this is just some of them that are scheduled to be in Benue State that have gone ahead of the president's arrival, and we should be able to speak with the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. It doesn't matter for, how short a time, because I imagine he must be in the thick of things right now. And as I said, the whole purpose of this, because the story that has been going on in Benue State hasn't been a palatable one. Governor Hyacinth Alia, as well as his deputy, Sam Ode, and indeed, all 32 lawmakers in the Benue State House of Assembly have been accused of not doing their duty by the people at all. The governor, of course, has defended himself that it is not the case. But this is to show you, how serious and how dire things are. So, of course, TVC is going to be on top of this event where the president is going to be. He's expected to hold town hall meetings. Okay, just before we commence the program with the Secretary General of the, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. Let's show you this package that we have.
This is the day 2 of the visit of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, to Benue State. Here he meets with traditional rulers. The general ordered the traditional rulers to put a check to any criminal elements within their domain. He adds that he will not tolerate any act of sabotage while working to ensure the protection of Benue communities.
When I came to Yelwater, what I saw, the burnings were targeted. How did they know those locations? Somebody was giving them an info, and we had to address it. But I want to appeal to ourselves. Yes, so many killings have happened, so many things have happened. Please, we're looking for the way, because we don't want this to continue like this. And it takes all of us to make a headway. All of us. We must agree that yes, we want peace to prevail, and that we work towards having that peace.
The traditional institution has promised the CDS that information is vital, and at all times, we'll make sure our people provide the necessary information to them to do their work properly. We appreciate his coming. Thank you.
All has been said is to build trust amongst ourselves. He has come with a very, very clear mandate to his people. He has said it, and we believe him, and we trust that from now going forward, peace will return to Benue.
In another development at the government house, the Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, visits Governor Alia to commiserate with the people of Benue State over the Yelwater attack. He urged both states to close rank and nip the killing in the bud as he announced the donation of 150 million naira to support Benue IDPs.
So it is actually with a deep sense of sympathy and concern that we received the news the recent attacks by none other than criminals at Yalwata, where so many people were killed. Anytime you have these kinds of crises at the border in Benue, it goes to affect us also in Nasarawa State.
It is important that we work together and defeat these agents of darkness who are determined to abridge the peaceful coexistence that we have enjoyed, particularly since you became governor of Nasarawa State.
With top security and political leaders backing local vigilante training and interstate cooperation, many in Benue are hopeful that an end to the violence may finally be in sight. Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makadi.
Okay, so there you go. These are part of preparatory materials. The president, as we know, is expected in Benue. Among other top-ranking individuals that have been dispatched earlier, as I said, is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. That's not counting the Inspector General of Police, heads of intelligence agencies, chairman of the Senate and House of Representative Committees on Defense. All of these people are there, and this seems to indicate that some people that are optimistic say now they are being taken seriously. Although I am sure the authorities would say they had always taken the matter going on in there seriously. But now the president is going to come to town to see for himself and to hear firsthand as much as can be done within the limits of the president's visit. But it's important. The president actually adjusted his schedule. He wasn't supposed to be in Benue, but for what happened, and as soon as it has happened, he has adjusted his schedule. That doesn't mean that there are still no criticisms, let it be said. And there are people who would have wanted the president to have dropped everything and come the very next day after the killings. But one can understand that there will be these emotional considerations as well. I did say that the president has commiserated, and you've just heard in that report, so are other brother governors of, the Governor Reverend Alia in the place, even as citizens in Benue are opining that they have been left to their own devices. The governor has countered that this is not the case. He has never failed in his duty. But I suppose the president will be getting to the bottom of it all. One thing that I'll be hoping to pick up with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is this whole matter about the president reiterating his earlier directive. I mean, that just speaks for itself. And what's that about? The president gave a directive. Was it difficult, or was it, executed in part? Why is there a need for that directive to be reiterated now? That the president has repeated or reiterated his earlier directive for the security chiefs to get to the bottom of all of this. But this is now forward and center. I don't think anything is more important right now, given the way it's like we are in mourning, considering all the people that have perished in this unfortunate situation, especially those that already were in IDP camps, internally displaced people's camps. The Pope has come in on this, other world leaders have come in on this, and we ourselves, I guess we're all in mourning. So that is why it's a ray of sunshine that Mr. President has visited there as powerfully as I have stated. Okay, Mr. Duro Simi in Lekki, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
AIG retired. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you.
The problem in Benue did not start today.
No, it didn't.
We ask ourselves is, why do we have this problem during the planting season and the harvesting season? The reason is that there are some people who want to make life difficult for Nigerians. Attack on Benue, Plateau, and Niger are attack on the nation. They want food to be scarce. Rather than farmers going to their farm to produce food, they want to keep the farmers in IDP camp so that they will even depend on food rather than producing food for themselves and for Nigerians. And the president's visit is good, but I think there's the need to set up a high-powered investigation panel to look at the remote and immediate causes of this problem.
Indeed.
We know that there are problems within the party people in that state. We know that there are some enemies of Nigeria who will ensure that in the last 10 years, they've been creating problems for the innocent people who are just farmers. It's not only in Benue, but they know that Benue is the food basket of Nigeria. That is why you can see the of a tuber of yam can be as far as 5,000 naira. There's a need for us to modernize our agriculture in Nigeria. We cannot depend on those cows that were being reared the last 100 years in Nigeria of today. We need our researchers to research and ensure that the modern cow that can stay in the so-called ranch are produced in Nigeria. We can take example from other nations that have gone ahead. It is only in Nigeria you see cow moving about in all the state capitals. The modern cows don't need that movement.
Okay.
The government set up a panel comprising of retired police officers, retired army officers, judiciary and academia. They
all right.
To find and look into it.
Okay,
we
sir.
Continue like this.
Thank you very much, sir. I got to interrupt you there now because the SGF is ready for us. He's in Benue already as part of an advanced team. Has been there for a while among a lot of other top-ranking officers. Okay, so we'll take the Secretary General to. Why do I keep on saying Secretary General? I meant Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator, Akume. Good morning to you, Mr. Secretary.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for taking time out of what must be a very tight schedule to speak with us. You've been there among, I've mentioned so many other high-ranking. This is the top-notch. I don't think it can be more powerful than it is, sort of indicating the president's, the importance the president attached to this, quite apart from the fact that he had to rearrange his schedule to indeed make this. Now, what can you report to us so far? We understand that the president is expected somewhere between noon and 1 a.m. So what can we look forward to with Mr. President being in town on this matter?
Well, thank you very much. Most Nigerians are aware of what has been taking place in Benue State for the past 15 years. Incessant killings of innocent farmers because of conflict over grazing in the state. As you know, Benue State is basically an agricultural and rural community. They survive on agriculture, and so much bloodshed has been let out in the state, and it continues unabated almost on a daily basis. And the president, hearkened to their cry. He decided in his wisdom and as father of the nation to respond very proactively by sending in people, top military officers and other intelligence chiefs to Benue State to make on-the-spot assessment of the situation. This has also led to deployment of more troops to Benue State. But he wants to have a feel of what he has been hearing and the reports he has been receiving. That is what the father should do. He is billed to visit the area which was affected as the water community, which was completely ransacked, and so many human beings were destroyed. Kids, young ones, even small kids were not left up. Their arms were amputated. In some cases, even their legs were chopped off.
Yes.
So he was within for himself. And there is a lot of expectation here that his visit will culminate in the termination of these atrocities. Nobody wants to see any part of his country being destroyed. He's very much concerned. He has sent condolence messages to the people and government of Benue State. Now it's time for him to get the real feel of the situation in Benue State.
Now, Mr. Secretary, what's your understanding of the news that we've had that the president has reiterated his earlier directive? Arguably, if that directive had been complied with when it was initially issued, arguably we might not have as bad a situation as we have. The fact that the president has had to reiterate it means that it wasn't addressed, and now the president is saying, sorry, to the security chiefs to get to the bottom of this whole matter.
Well, security matters are never openly discussed, you know, but the truth is that they had visited Benue, and they also expected to receive full cooperation from the Benue State government. You see, they cannot operate in isolation. They need the cooperation of all of us, and particularly the government of Benue State. So it may not be fair to hold the security people responsible for what has happened. I have discussed with many of them. These are very professionally sound people, dedicated and patriotic Nigerians who are also willing to implement to the letter the president directives. But at the same time, they require support from the government of Benue State. Let's be very honest about that.
Okay.
I don't think that support has been forthcoming.
Okay, that's a moot point, and I think I just want to, I know that you might not be able to spend maybe all the time we want, maybe an hour or half an hour, but so we'll strive to get in as much as we can on this whole matter. The president is scheduled to hold town hall meetings where he will be getting a direct, feed from the people. Can you tell us about that? Because the whole idea is for the president to hear firsthand from a wide spectrum of people what their observations, what their concerns are. Because from the commentary we've been hearing, the people of Benue State, especially the victims, are feeling abandoned, that they feel that government dropped the ball in terms of providing security for life and property of their people. It's a pathetic situation, as you observed at the top, and you can understand this perhaps.
Well, the concept of town hall meeting is to enable a leader to interact in a very meaningful and purposeful manner with his citizens, and this is a wonderful opportunity for both the president and the people of Benue State to exchange ideas and to ensure better understanding at first hand what has been taking place in Benue State. There has been a lot of discussion about the Benue situation. Sometimes we hear the invaders from Cameroon, we hear they are from Senegal, we hear they are from there, we have never ever seen this type of tragedy before. So this is a very wonderful opportunity for Mr. President to know precisely from the victims and from other citizens of Benue State, drawn from all backgrounds, religious, political, professional, and what have you, so that, and traditional, so that what comes out of the town hall meeting will meet the acceptable modern standards as far as the feedback system in a democratic system.
Could I, Mr. Secretary, one last question, please. Could I get your thoughts on the fact that there are anti-free grazing laws in place in Benue State. Do you have an idea, you being a son of the soil yourself, what the difficulty is in enforcing these laws?
Well, this law was put in place by the previous administration in Benue State, which was led by Governor Samuel. You want to understand why he did it, because the killings were escalating, and after consultations, he decided to come out with that law to minimize or reduce to the barest minimum the killings in Benue State. And I think to a large extent, he succeeded. The law itself, that legislation, is a comprehensive one. Even if it has some pitfalls here and there, no document is completely
perfect. Oh, I think it froze there. Oh, okay.
The truth is, that law makes provision also against cattle rustling, makes provision against destruction of farmlands by the herders. It makes provision for against people who take the laws into their hands. So I believe it's a document that, if faithfully implemented, minimize a lot of problems in the state. Nobody wants to see bloodshed in his own community. And the people of Benue State are no exception. And whether it is being implemented now or not, I don't know, since I don't stay in Benue. But if you look at the escalation of tension in Benue State following constant killings, then you could surmise that this law may not, it's not being implemented. That's the way I want to put it. But quite frankly, we deserve peace, we deserve progress, and without this, it's very impossible. If you don't have peace, there is no way you can make progress. And as you pointed out, this is a place that is the food basket of the nation. So these little farmers, contribute largely to food security situation in the country, but they need to be protected one way or the other within the ambit of the law.
Okay. Well, I understand that you have to leave. Regrettably, we would have liked to continue this conversation, but let me just thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for taking time out to come and speak to Nigerians. Thank you very much. So that's Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume there. The President's visit is later on today, somewhere between 12 and 1, we are told. It will be covered live when it does happen, as you can imagine. That's a TVC niche. So that's the way it's looking. A lot of people have reason to be sort of optimistic that it's going to make a difference this time. Maybe they are sort of renewing their hope. In the case of Benue, which has always been in this situation, as the Secretary was speaking about just now, we just hope that this time it will actually bring about something different so we can put this really behind us. Good morning, Mr. Joshua in Irewolide.
Okay, Uncle Yori, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
And greetings to your guest, though
Indeed.
he just featured shortly.
Yes.
If you can hear me.
We can hear you.
What I'm trying to contribute this morning is maybe totally different from what everybody has been saying. Like in my local community, most of the, let me say, elite blame the president directly for what is happening in Benue and like every other state. Now we have a country where people don't understand the structures of governance. Like to me, Benue has an executive governor, and I'm not sure the executive governor reports directly to the president about what he does. I mean, I have first-hand information that he was not in good terms with President Obasanjo, he had to govern under very stringent conditions. He had serious security issues. The Atlantic Ocean had almost submerged Lagos. This man governed the state. Please, governors should govern their state. It's beginning to be like the weakest link in this government structure in Nigeria. And every time the president goes there before something happens, this governor and every other governor in Nigeria, they should govern their state.
All right, then.
And allow local government to function so that we can have security for the farmers. And these headers, whatever, please, it is time for Fulanis to go back to ranching. What is so difficult in that matter? Let's go back to ranching. Kenya is there. They are doing it very well. Farmers and headers are not fighting. This modern day, Fulani should go back to ranching and stop all this roaming about everywhere. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua in Irewolide. Okay, what we're going to do now is that we'll take a break. As we watch events unfold in Benue, we'll keep the phones open, and if there's a cutaway to some other material, you know that you can always catch us on our digital channel on YouTube. But the point is that we will stay on this, whatever be the situation. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Every major news story is with Benue perspective and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays 1:30 p.m.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. Unlabeled to believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know.
The visit of the president to Benue State following the tragedy of the killings there. And but just to say that there is a live event in Ondo State, so we'll just got to that, but please stay with us if you want to continue with this subject matter on our digital channel, that is to say, YouTube. In diaspora, you don't need to do anything. You'll see us and hear us where we always are. If you're going to call in, you know the number, do continue to call in. As I said, on your screen, it might have shifted to an Ondo State live event. Okay, so we've had a couple of reactions. Please join us on our YouTube channel so that we can continue this conversation. The diaspora viewers are on it already, and if there are any local viewers, a lot of them know that is the way to go now. So Tony in Lagos, good morning to you, sir.
Hello.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead now. We have you.
Yeah. This problem in Nigeria is not peculiar to us. If you go into memory lane, this is the same thing that was happening in America. The Indians and the cowboys. At the end of the day, they solved it.
You're talking of the days of the Wild Wild West.
Yes, Wild West at that time, the cowboys and the Indians, the cowboys would carry all their, cows into to eat all the, the planted food of the Indians. They were always fighting themselves.
That was in the 1800s, right?
And they solved it by this idea of our having ranches, which can be solved in Nigeria, likewise.
Okay.
So it's a simple thing to do.
Indeed.
So we don't need the presence of the president in a plateau in this thing, unless on political grounds. Like the last speaker said, that the governors, they should not stand up and do the needful. Let them govern their states. Do you think Trump will be going to California and to solve problems here and there? Well, when we are talking about this type of democracy we are borrowing from America, the president should not be everywhere unless on political sounding he goes.
Okay.
So my brother, it's easy. Don't let us always trying. And at the same time, if you look at during the autumn time, and this president something, the Benue and the Plateau, they'll be crying. What do you do? You're supposed to govern your state and have good security. We always depend on federal.
All right then.
And I understand that even in those days, the chiefs in Benue and so on, they would allow the Fulanis to come and graze their cow during the dry season when there was no planting. Why did they stop that again? And then the Fulani can come in and so on. Like the former president said, they should have Ruga or something. And one of the minister of Agri was also from Benue, and he agreed with Buhari that time. We just complicated things in this Nigeria and so on. We should try as much as possible to govern ourselves right.
All right then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony, for calling in. If there are other people watching us now, please go to our digital channel on YouTube so we can continue with this. Tony brought up a very important matter there. I am sure that it will come under consideration as well upon the occasion of the president's visit, because there is going to be meeting with a wide spectrum of the society. And what exactly has been preventing the implementation of the whole Ruga affair, ranching? We can't, it has been said, and the laws now exist to back it up, you can't continue to have open grazing with all the attendant challenges and the potentials for violence, especially when cattle herders trample on cash crops, food crops. So that's why it's been described, this has been described as armed herders, violence on farmers. But as I said, the president probably will be calling for some investigations. He'll be hearing from all spectrums of society. And I suppose a healthy dollop of political will is going to be required. Because Tony, that has just finished speaking with us, says that what is the difficulty? Well, I don't know, maybe tradition, because people tend to do things the way their forefathers have been doing it. It might well be that this is no more than that. I don't know. We'll get into it. That this is the way it's always been. This is a way that I don't know about. This is not the way our forefathers used to do it. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something more. I'm sure the president's visit to the place, as I was sort of hoping and suggesting, will indeed lead to a new wave of hope for peace and security in Benue. Ade in the UK. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir. I disagree with one of the callers that said we don't need the president. We need the president. The president is the commander-in-chief. All security apparatus in Nigeria are under the president. We need the president. So
yeah, but he was saying that in relation to the fact that there are laws. There are laws. You don't need the president to come and remind us that this is illegal.
I blame the governor of Benue State.
Okay.
You are not the governor of Benue State. Is not a politician. It's a reverend. So those who work with him, like the SDF, he make them his enemy. You see, the SDF occupy an important position in Nigeria. He should have let go everything. Those who work for you to get to power, I mean, let them, they have experience, they are politicians. Huh? Whatever between you, bury it and come together. When you are dead, then this problem can be easily solved. Otherwise, there will be pointing of fingers. You see? That's why the governor should adjust his way and embrace the elderly man, the SDF, who fought on his coming to be a governor in Benue State. So that is very important.
Okay.
Then lastly, I think to conquer this issue, they should employ all those Benue retired military officers.
They are all involved.
Come back and sorry?
They are all involved. There's a league of retired military.
Let me make my point, please. Let me make my point, please.
Yeah, but just I wanted you to know that you're not saying anything. You're not saying anything new. They are already involved. But carry on.
They should employ the retired soldiers and pay them allowance like civilian JTF, so they can go to their locals and fight this Fulani that invading their territory. That's what I said today on my TV morning in Abuja when I spoke. So they should fight like that. That's the best way to solve this problem.
Okay, thank you very much. But as I was saying, it's a good suggestion you're making, but they are already involved. There are all sorts of, coalitions. There's a league of retired military officers and generals that are all part of, as I was saying, a very wide spectrum of people that are coming in on this now, and that no doubt Mr. President will be hearing from as well. But thank you very much, Ade, in the UK. We'd already fixed that, but nevertheless. So, I was saying that this is an opportunity, for us to maybe now really, grab the bull by the horns. If it is political will that is necessary, maybe the president is going to be encouraging. He usually is, because his point of view is that we have to help each other, be our brother's keeper. But what has happened here, it's going to take all sorts of counseling, because we're talking about 200 people over. And look, when you have a figure like 200 that's put out there, there are those who are working out that they admitted 200, it probably is a fair bit more. Maybe I won't go as far as that, because that's the figure that we are seeing, especially in the Yelawata, killings and other areas. So if it is political will, maybe we'll be able to find it after the president's visit. That remains to be seen. But the one thing is that Mr. President is going to be hearing firsthand from, the meetings that he's going to be conducting. And by the way, we spoke with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation earlier. He's been in town for a few days, in town being in Benue, and he himself has, had some sort of consultative meetings preparatory to the president coming around with a very wide spectrum of concerned individuals in Benue as we speak. The president is expected somewhere between, 12 noon and 1 o'clock, we hear. And as I was saying, TVC is going to be on it. This has been going on for quite a long while. I don't know what exactly is going to come of this, because the Secretary to the Government of the Federation was speaking about, we're not sure that we know who these people are. Well, at one time you hear that they are not Nigerians, and other times they are Nigerians. But Uncle Cash, did I get that right, in the UK? Good morning, Uncle Cash. Uncle Cash, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Firstly, good morning.
Don't worry about that. It's an echo.
Firstly, I don't know why people are comparing us with UK or US. Always when there's sort of problem in Nigeria, instead of us to kneel the ball on the nail, and regarding saying that President shouldn't have gone to Benue, are we having the same structure like UK and US they are comparing Nigeria with? I mean, they didn't give the state, they don't have sort of state police. And governor doesn't have much, has limited power with whom they govern upon. And I'm wondering why you are comparing Nigeria system or our US and UK system that president shouldn't. Even this thing happen, we have to blame the president to be realistic. We have to now see it is when people are clamoring that president has to have to go there. It's then that president decided to go there today. What is very wrong? Which is that if it is in somewhere else, president might have been visited the place. 200 people. Come on. I mean, it's not fair. It's unfair at all. So people shouldn't compare Nigeria with the U.S. structure or U.S. system. Give them state police. Give the governors power. It's not on the way too sharp. They have to get permission from the presidency. It's very wrong.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uncle Cash, for calling in there. Indeed, the president will be hearing all sorts of voices, maybe very much like yours, but it'll be, of course, narrowed down to the actual tragedy that has brought the president to, Benue State today. He's going to be looking for ideas. He's going to be looking for perspectives, and he'll be hearing it raw and unfiltered. This will not be put into tidy, government releases and all those kind of things. And the president is, very experienced in these kind of things. So he'll be getting a wealth of information, whereupon he shall be able to make certain suggestions. I suppose also there are people who have been asking for a state of emergency. That's how serious it is. In fact, I don't know how fair it is, but people have been saying that a state of emergency has been declared in other areas here that hasn't experienced 200 people dying at the minimum. But as I said, I don't know how good the logic of that is. But it shows you that people are thinking that what can be more of an emergency than 200 people? And when we say people, it's important to say that children, women, in fact, indiscriminate about people, just bodies. It's a tragedy, actually. Mazi Okorafor, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, sir. Good morning again.
Good morning. I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mazi. We can hear you. Oh, dear. Okay, so sorry about that. Maybe Mazi, he usually does from time to time, maybe Mazi will get back on the line again and see if he can find a better connection. So there's so many things that the president will be getting. Well, presidents, by their very nature, they have information that the rest of us are not usually privy to. But still, the show of support, empathy, and solidarity with the people of Benue State, it's going to count for much, because I've been reading commentaries and the people are saying that, okay, our tragedy is almost unbearable, but it does help that the president is coming, and it's not just the president coming to town. There's a whole flotilla, shall I say, of security personnel, from the Chief of Defense Staff to, you know, the Secretary to the government, to the Inspector General of Police. I mean, you couldn't get higher in terms of security now. All of them concentrated in Benue State. That seems to indicate the seriousness with which the government and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking this particular matter. So there we are. As once again, the president is expected later on this morning. In fact, the frame that we were given is somewhere between 12 noon and 1 p.m. So we'll see how all of that goes. But the important thing here is that it's a consultative visit. It's a consultative visit. He'll be, apart from the governor, who the president has advised, spoken with in the past. I brought up the matter of the reiteration of the president's earlier directive. Maybe just we just guessing. One wonders what would have happened, but the chief of the secretary to the government had spoken in defense of the military, who are all very, very professional people, quoting and paraphrasing what he said. So maybe we don't know the entire story in there, but the president has had to reissue his directive to, you know, all those security bigwigs. He has had to reissue it, and now everybody is on it for sure. That's the one thing for sure, everybody is on it. But peace, how peace will return to Benue in a sort of, you know, in a thorough sort of way, so people can sleep again, as they say, with both eyes closed. The trauma that Benue has been through, as I was saying, we say 200 people died. Yeah, but that's 200 men, women, and children, and then burned, and then houses set on fire. By who? Well, for now, nobody is willing. Perhaps it's not politically correct to say so. In fact, the closest we've come is that these are armed herders and farmers. Mazi has got back on the line. I thought he might. Good morning again, Mazi.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning again.
Yes.
Sayori, honestly speaking, I thank God for the spirit and the zeal given to our president today at Benue State this morning. But the important thing is that I will advise that the stakeholders, whether indigenous or non-indigenous, they should come together as the president is there to build up a lasting roadmap solution to that killing, because Benue State is noted as the food basket of the nation. Now, with all this, like what the governor said, now all these problems have been maintained from people within the place, not outsiders. Now, the question now is, I will advise the soldiers, all those people they have arrested and the bullets those people are using, they should try and find out which country are those bullets from. Why am I saying this? When you see what's happening in Gaza, Israeli part of the Egypt or Sudan, anywhere, what the best thing you do is to look at the bullets and know the country. Then you will not know that those countries, whether they are your enemy or your friend, it will help us. And the area they indicate that is the generals we have in that state. General, they have retired general, even present one. They should come together and find it. Benue State is a very nice place that everything is perfect. If you take the yam, the pound the yam, then after seeing that their life is kakaraka. But now what is happening? And if you look at the IGP, it's very, very disheartening that the high rate of IGPs, especially those who are school age, is getting out of proportion. We have to find a lasting solution now, because what we are seeing now, it will not happen now, no. In the near future, we don't doesn't need prayers, because the IGPs have already happened. But the question, we are praying it will not happen again, because I have friends, I have many of them from Benue State. Honestly speaking, it's not. I pray by the grace of God, through the oracle of the Holy Spirit, that is coming of the president to Benue State to them. It will bring a lasting solution to that crisis in Benue State, so that things will normalize very well by the grace of God. I pray. We have seen what is happening in Iran. We have seen what is happening in Israel. Gaza, and then is in Sudan. You know what is happening. Good morning, Sayori.
Thank you.
In Lagos.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mazi Okora, for calling in. Yeah, you're the second person to make this point, but I was reading in the press that indeed there is a body, I think a League of Retired Generals and that kind of a thing, that is part of this. just everybody. It's like in terms of